Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Manon. I'm a programmer, horsey girl and a knitter, and that's what this channel is about, the knitting part. And if you're not new, you've come back, then thank you so much. You're the best. Just a quick reminder that if you want to keep seeing these videos, then you can subscribe. There's a button down below. I post new videos every Friday at 5 p.m. Central European time. In today's episode, I've got one finished object that you saw in the previous podcast, but it's finally blocked. I've got one that is almost ready, but not quite. A few more whips and a lot of swatches. So let's dive right in. Let's start with my finished object, which is right here, and I'm not going to be wearing it because we're in the middle of a heat wave and it's so hot. I mean, I'm recording this at it's 8:30 in the morning because later on this room is going to be so hot that it's just unbearable. It's just not going to happen. So I've been hiding downstairs in the last few days. So yeah, here it is. So you've seen this one in the last podcast episode, but it was not blocked yet. And I have to say, the blocking made it so much softer and in a way lighter. It feels like the fabric is lighter and it's got so much more drape. And yeah, I really love it. I made a little video downstairs where it's less hot already when I'm wearing it. So I'll show that to you while I'm talking about this. I can't quite remember what I did talk about last time. I'm not going to talk about the construction again because I've done that when I introduced this whip. I've done that, I think, in the last episode. But so this is mainly to talk about how the blocking worked out. What differences I see. So I've just talked about that it's a lot softer, it's got a really good drape. So this is Hobby Friends wool paired with Drops Kit Silk Mohair. I think, by the way, that Drops has an offer at the moment on some of their winter yards, including their mohair. So if you're in the market for some mohair, you want it a bit cheaper than normal, I think they've got like 30% off, at least in the Netherlands. But I think they run those promotions like at least for all of Europe, or I've seen it across several web shops, so who knows. The cuff already looked, I mean, very neat, so the blocking didn't, maybe made it a tiny bit neater, but it's not a huge difference. You could see where I had used double pointed needles. I don't know if it will show on this, but it's this line, right? I can't point on it, it's quite hard to, left is right and right is left with this camera, so it's a bit hard, but I don't know if you can, yeah, you can really see it in this angle. That's not blocked out completely, but I think by wearing it, that's just going to disappear. And if it doesn't, it's not the worst thing ever. So that happens in a few places in the garment. There's also on this side. I don't know if it will show. I just saw it for a minute. Yeah, there you see it there. So yeah, I mean, double pointed needles. So there should be 4 lines, but I see 1, 2. So where the fold is? Maybe it's where I've folded the arm. But I don't know if this is the fold or the line from where I had like a little gap between the double pointed needles. So anyway, that has not completely blocked out, but I don't mind that too much. It's not something that is super visible. And then the ribbing, I complained last time that it wasn't super neat at the bottom because I didn't do half twisted ribbing. And I think the blocking has improved it. It's still not as neat. Let me show you the difference. So this is the cuff, and that is super neat. And this is quite difficult. There's a lot of fabric because this is a big cardigan. Cuff, and then the ribbing, and it's a little bit more neat after blocking. It's still not perfect. If I had to redo it, I think I would do half twisted rib, just because then it looks completely perfect instead of good enough. So I'm happy with the way it looks, to be clear. Yeah, you live and you learn. That's okay. That will be for next time. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it does look and how it feels, and I can't wait for it to get colder so I can wear it. That won't be this week, that won't be next week. And I'm not a person that likes heat very much, so I'm trying to survive at the moment. I'm not even riding the horses, that's how hot it is. I'm mucking out stables every day to keep the flies away, and it's basically heat training. If anyone wants to do free heat training, I mean, I've got you covered. You can easily come and do an hour and then have a shower because that will be required. Anyway, that is completely off topic. Size wise, I don't think it grew a lot. I think the sleeves maybe grew like 1 or 2 centimeters, and the body might as well, but I'm not 100% sure about the body because I didn't measure it before. But that is good for the size, but I'm wondering if for oversized garments, if I shouldn't go down 1 more size. So this is an S, which I'm always between an S and an M. And since it was oversized, I already went down to the lower size. And I don't have an XS body, to be clear. I really don't. But I'm wondering if that would have looked good as well. So if I were to knit this again, I might do that, just to have it a little bit less oversized. Yeah, maybe I would do that. I like the length that I did. So it's not about the length, it's about the positive ease, like around the bust. And also around the hips. I don't have super wide hips. I'm like basically like a pole, very straight. But yeah, that's little things to think about if you are thinking of knitting. PetiteKnit's champagne cardigan, absolutely lovely. Can really recommend this yarn combo as well. Is it the absolute softest? No, but this is not going to be something I'm going to wear on skin. That's not what it's supposed to be for. So I think that's great. And then this is going to be a little bit more hard wearing. I hope it's not going to peel too much. So hope it's gonna behave well in the future, so I can use it for the projects, which we are going to talk about in a bit. But that was it for my champagne cardigan. Really happy with it. And thankfully winter is coming. In a long time, but still, you know. Okay, and then on to whips. Still no progress on the Agnete cardigan. Maybe I just stopped mentioning it because it's way too hot to pick it up. It's in PetiteKnit, which is a little bit more rustic than merino, for example, so it feels quite hot to the touch, and there's no way I'm touching that in these temperatures. So no update on that. However, I did quite a lot of work on the Amy Slipover. Let me get it because it's... The garment itself is not very big, but I started the straps and that has made it a bit unwieldy because of very long needles. Okay, this is the yarn. So the Amy Slipover is a pattern by Sandnes Garn. I've talked about it in all of my previous podcasts, I think. Wait, so this is what it looks like at the moment. It looks really weird, but let me extend, damn it, let me put all the stitches like on the long needle, like the rest of the cable, so that you can see what it sort of looks like. I still don't have enough. I had to put this sort of in between cable connector on it because I just need a lot more length, but that's still not enough. There's 422 stitches I think in total, so this is the part that is attached to the shoulder, but then it's also the band that you will use to attach the front and the back together. So a cast on with a freaking crochet cast on. I thought I was going to die. I did not enjoy that, but I do understand why they did that, and I think it's the right decision, but not enjoyable whatsoever, at least not for me. Let me know if you like crochet cast on, but it's quite sturdy, so I understand that is what they wanted to go for, so that it would look good. Anyway, so you start with the front and the back strap, and then you pick up stitches all along the shoulder, and then you cast on another 130 stitches for the other strap. So there's a lot of stitches. Maybe they're almost, well, okay, at least the shoulder part is all right. But so yeah, you end up with, how am I going to show you this? Strap here is at the front, and that is the back, in fact, and then goes all over here, and then where is it? There, another strap. So as you can see, I don't have enough cable or needle, so that it looks perfectly flat. It's still a bit bunched up here, so this is going to be a little bit longer than this when it's off the cable and it's relaxed, but I don't want it to fall off the needle. So there we go. Let me turn this around so that you actually see the front. So this is the left shoulder, and this has been a lot of knitting back and forth on a lot of stitches, but this way it actually, you can see what it's going to look like. And I think I did the cast on the mostly on the train on Monday. I have a very long train journey, but I needed a very long train journey to cast all of this on. And I'm quite happy with how it looked. So I've been working on this pretty much all week and not on anything else because I was still waiting for my needles delivery to start on other projects. They have been delivered, but we'll talk about that in acquisitions. Anyway, yesterday, end of the day, I looked at it and this was still one straight line because I've then decided to add German short rows. Maybe I put it up and you can see what I'm talking about. It's probably gonna touch my microphone and make some horrible noises. I'm sorry about that in advance. There, needles everywhere. Okay, there we go. Try to not touch the microphone. There we go. So it's on the cable, so now it's like sticking up like that, but it will relax, of course. What was happening yesterday, end of the day, is that I was quite happy with the width of these. I didn't want them to become much wider because then it's also going to be harder to tie and knot in it. But I wasn't quite happy about the width of this part. It was basically getting just before the edge of a normal t-shirt, which just looks a bit weird. I mean, look at it. It's just this side as well. I mean, and the collar is going to pull this a bit further in, so it was just a weird look. I mean, this way it's just not quite there. And so I did some German short rows here, starting at the armpit there, and then going back and forth to the back of my armpit. And so I did 3 turns on every side, so 6 rows in total in German short rows. And I don't want to do much more because then it's going to be very, very obvious, and that's not really the look I want to go for. But I think with this length, I think that is going to be okay. So I'm going to do one more entire length and then I'm going to bind off. However, and I talked about this last time as well, I've been struggling a bit with binding off 2x2 rib. Let me take this off first because it's warm in here and I don't need to have this on to talk to you about it. So I have tried several methods, and thank you to the people that have suggested methods as well in the comments. That's been very helpful. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on 2x2 cast off bind offs lately, but there is the 2 bind offs I have done. This is the back and this is the front, and I can't remember the name of the one I did in the front, but in the back the pattern suggests that you switch to 1x1 rib and then you bind off, and I took that very literally, but there are methods to do that so that it looks neater, as I've discovered. I will link the videos of the various bind offs that I have watched and which ones I did use to show you what I've done. So for the front one, it looks better. Am I 100% convinced? No, wait, this is the back. I'm showing you the wrong one. I'm sorry. This is the back. So this is with switching from 2x2 to 1x1, and so you can see the bottom is not quite, well, not the bottom, but the edge is not perfectly neat in 2x2, and then this is the actual front. This is the other method I've tried, and yes, the 2x2 looks good, but now the edge is just a bit bubbly, and it's not just not as good as I want it to be. And so what I've realised, but later on, is that you're supposed to switch for your last row to a smaller needle size so that it will be tighter and then it will look neater. And I didn't do that, of course. So this is like my journey on learning different bind offs piece. I don't think I'm going to go back and redo it. Just because it's okay, it doesn't look bad. If it looked bad, I would redo it, but it doesn't look bad. I dropped my yarn. There we go. So I kind of want to do something similar to this bind off, but I found a different video that explains it in a way that I find easier to understand. I'm not saying it was a bad video whatsoever. It's just different people learn in different ways, or we each have different language that will suddenly click, or a certain way of showing it that you will be like, oh, I finally get it. So yeah, I think something very similar to this bind off, which is Italian bind off, but then you like skip, you do knit and purl, and so you have to skip a little bit in between. I don't think I can explain this very well, so I'm just going to stop here and just link the video. There's also an option for tubular cast off that way, by basically doing double knitting and then casting that off, and because it's then to tubular double knitting, you can do a normal Italian bind off, and that looks in hindsight like that would have been the better option to do at the hem, but it's too late for that, and I don't think that would look good on the shoulder thing, strap thing. So that's the reason I'm not doing any double knitting here and then casting it off, because that would be easier, because then I could just do an Italian bind off, and I love to do those. I don't know what it is, it's meditative, I could just watch whatever, a series or anything. I don't need to focus, so it's nice and easy. But yeah, I don't know. That would create like a little bump, I think, on the side, and also for the ties, and the ties need to be as flat as possible. So yeah, that didn't seem like the right option. So A lot of talk just to say I need a smaller needle size to do this, and of course that's a needle I don't have, and a needle that I didn't order in the order that took 2 weeks to get delivered. Well, in fact, the original order was never delivered, so I ordered somewhere else in the end, but that is still information to come. So my plan is I do have a smaller cable in, so the cable is done on a 3mm needle. I'll put it somewhere, no, on this side, what it is in US needles. Anyway, relatively small already, which is a smaller size for interchangeable needles, and hence I need such a long length of cable. I only have a 2.5 in a relatively short cable, and this is never going to fit on that needle, and that needle is also in use for the next thing I'm going to talk about. So I'm a bit stuck. So what I've come up with yesterday evening while brushing my teeth is that I'm going to use one of my double pointed needles that I do have in 2.5, and I'm going to attach one of those barber cords to it, and that's sort of going to create a cable that the stitches can go onto. And that way I can knit the last row using my makeshift cable needle, and then I only need to have one side, and then they can come off this this cable needle, and then I do the bind off. So it's a little bit interesting. I'll let you know next time if that worked or if that was a terrible idea. This video is coming out this evening already, well, end of the afternoon, 5 p.m. I hope I will have done it by then. If not, you can always warn me in the comments to absolutely not do this if this is a ridiculous idea. But so yeah, I hope this to do that today. Finish this weekend, hopefully. I'll update it on Instagram if it's finished, and otherwise you'll see it in the next podcast. If you want to see more regular updates, I post quite a bit in my stories on Instagram, so it's yarn at the barn with dots in between. It's also linked down below in the description. But yeah, this is going quite well, and I'm also trying to finish it before I start all the new projects that I really want to do, that I've got the yarn for, I've done the swatches for, I've got the patterns. It's like, shall I start it now? But I try to limit myself to 3 whips, because otherwise I will have new whips every week and I will not finish any of them. So it's a little bit of self-preservation, I guess. So yeah, I hope I can finish this soon, and then I can work on the other projects, which, let's talk about my third whip that I am allowed to have. Where do I put this? There we go. Which is the Hawaii top, and there's been absolutely no progress on it. Did I pull it off the needle? I pulled it off the needle. Oh my god, emergency. Ah! I grabbed the wrong ball of yarn and I pulled the thing off. Oh crap. I hate this. This is the right colour. Don't kill the stitches. Okay, this is live from an emergency, like, hell scenario. Because, okay, this is it. It doesn't look like a lot, but it was a lot of stitches to cast on, and now I've just pulled them off. Oh bloody hell, what have I done? Yeah, great. And I've ripped back, and this is the, yeah, this is not going to work. That was my cast on, and it's just gone. Okay, so we're back to square zero. I can just rip all of this back because this is just useless now. It's not a cast on anymore. There was a lot of counting involved in getting all these stitches on there, and it was one of those evenings where counting is not working, your brain is not working, so it took me a little bit too long to do this. The one positive thing about me, having just destroyed this by pulling it out of my project bag, is that this is a long tail cast on and I didn't have enough yarn, so there's like a little in between thing where I added some more yarn to be able to continue my cast on, and now I'm going to be able to redo that with the right amount of yarn. Keep trying on seeing the positive aspects of things that are not positive at all. Anyway, this was one row like a cast on and one row on the Hawaï top, because even for the first row I was supposed to do that on a different needle. So this is a 2.5 needle and I'm supposed to do the rest of the ribbing in 2.75, and I moved to, I can't remember if it's 3.5 or I think 3 for the rest of the lace body. But yeah, gonna have to redo this. Anyway, so yeah, this is sort of a whip that is not going to be a whip because I'm going to rip it back. But then I hope this weekend to have time to cast it back on, because it's quite simple. It's just a 1x1 rib, and I just have to do a couple centimeters of the rib. And I am not competing myself on Sunday, but I'm going with a friend that is competing with 2 horses, and so she could use the help, and she's lovely. I ride one of her horses as well for competition, so we help each other. But yeah, I think we're going to have quite a bit of time on our hands sitting there between 2 competitions, so that is going to be the plan. Although horses and white-ish yarn, yeah, that's just ridiculous. Also, competition outfits, you have to wear white pants for horse riding. I mean, have you seen the animals? They're dirty all the time and they like to scratch their head on you, preferably on your pants, especially if they're white. It's a nightmare. I don't know who came up with it. It looks nice and everything, but it's a pain to keep it clean, and you have to wear like overpants to keep it clean. And then when it's hot like this, it's just terrible. So yeah, questioning my life choices sometimes when doing that. But yeah, anyway, that is my plan for Sunday, and I'll try and keep it clean. Otherwise I can wash it. So this is Knitting for Olive cotton merino. So I think it's 70% cotton and 30% merino wool. And I did a swatch. There we go. And it's so nice. It's like the lightest thing ever. So it's perfect for a little camisole. I just, before blocking, this felt a little bit stiffer, a little tiny bit heavier. But after blocking, it's just perfect. It feels really cool to the touch. It's just, okay, it's lace as well, so it's going to be airy because it's lace. But the material as well feels really, really nice. So I can't wait to knit this. It's going to be such a nice knit for the end of the summer. I mean, I had some other plans that I kind of came up with before I came up with this one. But because this is very much a summer piece, I'm going to try and knit this in the next few weeks and have it hopefully so I can still wear it before it gets too cold. And I love it. I just love the look of it. I mean, and I'm not the best at knitting lace, and there's mistakes in there, but it already looks so nice. And really, I love it. I like it a lot. Anyway, so that was whip number 3. That is going to be ripped back. And I hadn't done anything for 2 weeks anyway, because I was waiting for the needles. But I have all the needles now, so now I can cast on and then get going. So that's nice. Okay, so that's it for the whips, and then moving on to sort of future plans. So if this is not the first podcast episode of mine that you have watched, then you do know that one of my plans is to knit the Orchid Bloom pullover, and I was struggling with needle size for the lace on the yoke. I was missing a lot of stitches, I think between 4-6 stitches to get gauge on the lace, whereas for the stockinette part I was almost on. I mean, it was like a tiny little difference. I think it was 1 stitch off or something like that, and I thought, okay, I can just try it on, and then based on that I cast on more or less stitches at the armhole, or I do a tiny bit of shaping, so 1 stitch off, it will be fine. It's not a super tight fitting garment, so a little bit more or less ease is fine, but for the lace it's like for the entire yoke, and it depends then how many panels of lace you cast on, so that was a bit more of a problem. And I've knitted another swatch on 3.5mm. You're supposed to do it on 3mm needles for the lace and then move to 3.5 for the stockinette part, but it's impossible to get gauge, so I've done another swatch. Let me compare it to the previous swatch in my box of swatches. This was, oh, this is so soft. This is the same yarn, this is a stockinette swatch, and it's so, I can't wait to work with this yarn. So it's knitting for Lives of Silk Mohair, but paired with Tôt le Matin merino, I think it's no, it's 70% merino, 20% silk and 10% cashmere. And so Tôt le Matin is a what do you call, indie dyer, hand dyer from France, and her colours are to die for. It's not too speckled, it's not too variegated, so I feel that it will work quite well for a whole garment without looking too crazy. But okay, let me get the swatches so that we can compare. This is 3mm, this is 3.5. I mean, I've done a little ribbed edge on that one, so you can't compare the 1-to-1 exactly, but there is a little difference, and this little difference that I wanted, because that's perfect. There we go. No, this way. It's my one concern. I mean, this is the right size. A 3.5 is the right gauge. The one thing is that it looks better in 3mm because it's a little bit tighter, especially if you put the stockinette next to it. Then the 3mm definitely looks better with the stockinette. It looks like it's the same needle size or close, and stockinette and 3.5 make it look like these were bigger, much bigger needles. They're not, they're the same needle, but it looks bigger in lace, and so that's my small concern. I mean, I don't really have a choice really. I hit gauge with 3.5, so I'm gonna have to do it in that, but I'm just a little bit concerned that it's not gonna look as nice. I mean, I have to get a little bit better at lace as well. It's not great just yet. It'll be good enough. I mean, it's a journey. It's about learning. But yeah, that's my one little concern. But other than that, I figured out the size problem that I had for now I have the right needles. So yeah, so that's the update on that. So I can cast it on now because I know which size to knit. So I'm going to knit, I think it's a size 3. I'll update you next time when I have casted on which size it's going to be. But yeah, looking forward to, happy that I have my answer as to which size to knit with what needles, and that I should at least get a garment I can wear that's not going to be too tight. So that is the update on the Orchid Bloom pullover. And then next update, I really want to knit the low tide. It doesn't say sweater pullover, but it's just called low tide, but it's a sweater pullover by Unwind Knitwear. I said knitting in my previous podcast episode and I was wrong, it's knitwear. but I wasn't sure what colour combinations to use, so I made swatches. And let me show them to you. There we go. Oh, yeah. It's quite hard to hold 4 swatches, so maybe I'll just put a photo on the screen where you can see them. But starting, I have to remember this, starting from the top, so I will have to put them in the correct order. I can just show it to you one by one. And I've got the yarn that I used. It's still here next to me. Yeah, I say that, but then some of it is in my project bag because I thought I could cast it on. I would have time this week to cast it on, which I did not. But there we go. So these were the yarn options that I got. So this is it wheat? I think it's wheat. Yeah, there's it's all knitting for olive. So this is wheat, trench coat mohair, and dusty honey mohair. And I wasn't sure which combination of these was going to work, so I tested them sort of all. This is wheat with dusty honey. This is wheat with trench coat. This is trench coat with trench coat. And this is trench coat with dusty honey. I like all of them, so that's the good news. There's one very clear favourite. So I wanted something that was a little bit... Well, first I just wanted something neutral. And then I saw dusty honey and I was like, oh, this could be really great. This could be like a little golden touch. And that idea just stuck in my head. And this is the winner. So this is wheat with dusty honey. And I like that it has a bit of marling because of the colour combination. I like a little bit of marling, not too much, but just a little bit of it there. But it's still quite neutral enough that it's going to go with practically every other colour in my wardrobe, which there's not that many colours, but you know, still it's going to work for everything. And it's also not too, what should I say, boring. This is just a little bit out of the ordinary, so I like it. The runner-up was this one, so it's this wheat with trench coat, and it's a bit more simple. I like that too, but I've just knitted my champagne cardigan in a very simple colour combination. So this is, I wanted something a little bit extra than this, but still really love the colour. So yeah, I might do something in this colour combination at some point. And it's the same for these two. They're a little bit darker, so it has a little bit more character than wheat. But it was, I wouldn't say too basic, because I love basics, but it's just, yeah, it was too simple and too muted for low tide. So that's why this one was like, no, that is not going to happen. This one would have been okay, but just a little bit on the boring side for that one. And I really like this one, and it makes it, the light makes it look very yellowy, but it's much more subtle. I think, yeah, if you look at the light here, it shows a lot better what it's like. And so I really like this colour combo. So yeah, I think I will want to do something in this colour at some point. Not for this project, but for a future project. This really, it's like, it's the deeper, darker version of this one, which makes sense because it's both dusty honey. It's just the base, the merino, is just a little bit darker. And I think both look really nice. Since this is the low tide has lots of lace, so it's a bit more open, so I see it as a bit of a transitional piece between summer and winter. Not going to wear it in full winter, I think, not as an outerwear piece, not like a big jumper. It's a bit more something I would wear to go eating out or something like that. This I think would work for something that's a little bit sturdier, just like in design wise. So yeah, that will be a thing in acquisitions, because Knitting for Live had a good cause. If you ordered on the Saturday, they would donate all the money to UNICEF. I'll tell you in a bit. But yeah, so anyway, once again, long story short, this is going to be the colour. And so I've knitted a swatch. Let me get it. There we go. This is one of the repeating lace patterns in the low tide, and this is it in the collar. It's a lot of marling for lace is my only slight concern. Is it a very big concern? No, it's not, but that's the only thing, is that the lace is not going to look as, it's not going to be as visible with this than with a collar, a more like a one-tone collar without the marling. But I'm okay with it. I think it's still going to be, it's good enough, and I really like the colour combination, so just going to try it, and if for some reason it doesn't work out, then I can always rip back and do something in a different colour. But yeah, ready for the low tide, and I needed those other needles that I ordered as well for the cast on, so that's why I hadn't started yet, but I got them now, so I can start. I'm really excited about this, so I'm really trying to focus on the Amy Slipover first, finish that, and then it's going to be the Orchid Blooms Pullover or low tide. I'm not sure which one just yet, but yeah, one of those, because I've still got my other whip in the cotton merino, and it's going to be nice to have like Agnete Cardigan in brioche in like a very warm wool. Then whatever the next one is, that is a merino with a mohair, but a very light fingering merino, and then there's the cotton merino, so there's going to be a nice variety in the project bag. Really excited about this. That was it for the swatches, and therefore sort of the, no, there's one more sort of future plan. There's two. The first one is that I got the pattern for another Unwind knitwear pattern that only just came out last week. It's the not to be missed tee, but there's also a version with long sleeves, which I might do. I'll see. I have enough yarn for it. So that's it's inspired by macrame. Macrame? I don't know how you say it in English, but anyway, this sort of knotting technique, and it looks really great. I'll put a picture on the screen, but I've got an alpaca silk yarn that I want to use for this, that I've had, and I had sort of a plan for it, but I think this will be a lot better, because as someone commented on one of my podcasts, alpaca is very warm, so using it for a t-shirt is a questionable choice at best. And that really made me think, like, is this a really good idea? Because a t-shirt, short sleeves, I'm not going to want to wear that in winter, or I might, but then my arms are going to be cold, so I will wear something else over the top of it. And this design is, well, has lots of holes, so it might be something that would work quite well for in autumn, because it will be warm, but because of all the lace, it might not be too warm. Is this wishful thinking? Possibly. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think this is another ridiculous idea for this yarn. But this would be, I've got it here, another Tôt le Matin yarn. So this is, in fact, it's 70% alpaca, 20% silk and 10% cashmere, and it's the softest thing you will ever touch. It's absolutely amazing. It's fingering weight. It's quite light fingering weight, but it's the best, and it's colorway canard. and it's just, it's a dream. I have to knit something in this. But yeah, after the 2 pullovers I'm going to do. So yeah, that is just a small update on that. And then the one more plan for sort of near future is that I realised that I've got lots of plans for very tiny needles, because there's more plans as well. I'm lying to myself, there's not just 2 plans, there's more, but that relates to acquisitions, which I will talk about in just a bit. But most of my plans are very small needles, and what I really enjoyed with the champagne cardigan is it was on 4.5 needles and it would knit away so fast, and that is quite nice to have as well. So I'm thinking that maybe I should also cast something on after the Hawaii top is done. I should cast something on in the same weight, so that would also be knitted on 4.5 or 5mm needles. And something I've been wanting to make for a long time is the Esther sweater by PetiteKnit. So it's got, it's a very simple construction, but it's got this motif of little pearl bumps creating these losanges, we call them in French, and I don't know what the word is in English, but little rectangular shapes and stripes, not stripes, but like lines of, I think they're like one twisted cable stitches, I don't know, something. Anyway, beautiful motif, it's all in the same colour, so it's very simple and it looks really nice. I've heard it's quite hard because you have to really pay attention to where you are, so do you need to do a purl or knit stitch, but it just looks really, really nice and simple. And I've got yarn in stash that I can use for that. It's more Hobie Friends wool. In fact, let me go get it because it's downstairs, and then I can show you and then you can help me choose, because I'm not sure about the colour. I've got several options in my head and this is one option, but is it the right option? You can help me choose. Please help me choose, because I don't know. We'll be right back.
A few moments later.
Okay, I'm back. And the 2 options, because there's one that I have enough wool for in stock, and the other option I don't, but I have the colour. These are the 2 options. So this is Hunter Green, and on the website of Hobie it looks a bit lighter than this. And so that is, right away, this is my concern with using this one, is that you want to see the motif. That is going to take time, you know, to knit all of that, and I want it to show. And I wonder if this is not going to be too dark. It's now in the light it looks quite nice, but look at how dark this is. And so that is my concern with this one. I have enough yarn and I would like to use my stash preferably, but I'm not going to regret my choice, because that's the other thing. I want to at some point knit a jumper for my husband, and I've got a different colour that's going to look even better on him. It's like a blue colour, and I've got enough yarn for that, and it's going to be some sort of Guernsey-ish inspired jumper thing, but this would also look good on him, so I can also keep it to knit something for him at some point. So yeah, will it be wasted? No. Is this the right choice for my Esther sweater? I'm not 100% sure. This is another option, and in this colour, of course. Oh, there we go. The camera froze up, but I was about to show you. This is sage green, and I'm not sure if it's the right colour. I think it's okay. It's okay, because it's summer, and when it gets to winter, I'm very pale. Not 100% sure. I think it will lean on the okay side. It's not going to be the best thing ever, but it will be fine. But this will show the motif really, really well. But I only have 2 balls. that I ordered last Christmas for Christmas gifts, and I have 2 balls left because I didn't knit anything in this one in the end, which I should because it's a beautiful one. So do I order more of this, or do I use this? Or 2 more colour options that are living in my head is a periwinkle blue, which Hobie actually does have for this wool and a lot of brands don't, and then pair it with a slightly lighter mohair, so it will create a little bit of a marl, but I think that will still be okay. And then it's going to be a light-ish periwinkle blue, and that is going to look very summery. It's going to be a very nice colour because I have knitted something in that colourway before. I've knitted a little bag, the honey bucket bag by PetiteKnit for my best friend's birthday, and the colour looked absolutely amazing. I almost wanted to keep it because it looked so nice. But will I want to wear a jumper in that colour in the middle of winter? Not 100% sure. It's going to be beautiful. So I could also do a slightly different blue, like a little bit more washed out, darker blue. I don't know. No, I'm not going to even try other options. This is the other option. And then the 4th one, but I don't think it's going to happen, that one, is to go with like a mustard or ochre yellow, which looks good on me, but it's very much out there. So I have t-shirts in that colour because I can wear something over them. But a jumper, then I'm a very yellow thing walking around. It's very visible, and I'm not 100% sure that's really for me. I would love the jumper, but will I wear it as often as I would if it was a different colour? I don't think so. I think it's going to look amazing in that colour. It's going to be a statement piece. But the problem with statement pieces is that you don't wear them as often as you do with just regular, easy to wear, classic things. So I think the yellow is out. I will at some point knit something in like a yellow golden colour. I think it's Ali from Ali Makes Everything that knitted a Colette pullover in this chartreuse colour, and it lives rent-free in my head. It's just absolutely wonderful. I'll link the video down below if I can find it again, but something like that looks perfect, but not sure that the Esther sweater is the right one for yellow. So okay, that's yellow off. I'm rubber ducking here. Thank you for being my companion in this, if you're still here. Congratulations, by the way, then. Periwinkle, once again, it's very summery, so maybe I keep that for a summer garment for next year, because I've got enough summer projects to finish before the end of summer. So which one is it going to be? I don't know if YouTube does polls, if I can poll in the comments. If it's possible, I'll do it, and please vote, let me know which one it should be. I'll include the periwinkle as well, because it's not completely out of my head just yet. Yeah, and otherwise, if it's not possible to put a poll in the comments, then just comment which colour I should go for, because I'm a bit lost. I've been thinking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. So yeah, please help me out. Okay, so that is it for possible projects that I do want to cast on in the next month or so. And then for acquisitions, 2 things. The needles finally came in. I had ordered at the biggest web shop for knitting in the Netherlands, and I think they just forgot my order. They were moving warehouse, so they've got that going for them. But even so, it's just, there were like 10 days, no news about the order, and I was like, I want to cast something on, guys, please. I can't move forwards, and yes, I've got other things to knit in the meantime, but I've got other things that I do want to start as well. So I ended up cancelling that order. because I sort of got pissed off that they didn't update me, or that they just forgot it. I don't know. Also because they're very big. If it's like a very small shop that is run by one person, then I'm much more accommodating. But a big one like this, it's like, come on guys, it's this bad business. I worked in e-commerce, like on the website building side, and so this is how you lose customers. No, not okay. Anyway, so I ended up finding another web shop that actually also had the same needles, but even a little bit cheaper. It's not a big difference, but still, it's nice. And I ordered there, and it was super fast. And there was one thing that they ended up not having, so their stock wasn't quite right, but they ordered it right away, and so it was delivered to them within one day, and so the next day they delivered it to me. So dollar ball, super happy with how fast you were. So yeah, that's gonna be my go-to place for needles from now on. So I've unpacked most of them, and it's quite boring because most of them are the same size. But there we go. I think this is the 80 centimeters, 2.75 needle, which I need for the ribbing for the Hawaii top, and for all the ribbing on the, what's it called? The low tide. I hope that I'm very bad at clicking my fingers, but that it was okay with the mic. So that is that one, and then there's I've got two needles in my hand. The 60 centimeters version, I like to not have too much cable. Then there's this tiny little one. I think this is 25 centimeters tops, something like that. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, this is a trick I got from an engineer. Most people's index fingers are about 10 centimeters or 4 inches. So you can carry a measuring tape with you all the time, which is what I do. But if you just want to eyeball it, your finger is very good, and hold it next to a ruler or your measuring tape to know exactly, like, is it at your knuckle? Is it a little bit further, a little bit before? And then when you just have to eyeball it, something for knitting, like is your ribbing long enough, for example, you use your finger and you don't need to get the measuring tape. So yeah, that's a little trick. So all of these cable thing madness. And then I got some crochet hooks. Where is it? So I already had 6 millimeters crochet hook and a 3mm one, but for the Hawaii top it calls for a 2mm one. So there's this tiny thing. I wonder if I can even pick up the yarn with this, it's so small. And I can't remember what pattern called for a 6mm, but I had in my head I need to also get a 6mm, so here we are. I'm sure it will come in handy at some point. So these two, they didn't have them in simple black. My other crochet hooks are just like black, super simple. But yeah, now I've got nice coloured ones. I'm not into pastels. I'm the Grinch when it comes to colours. I don't like pastels. Not on me. I think they look gorgeous on other people, but I don't like my accessories being pastels either. But oh well, they had the right size. And then this is the ugliest pouch ever, but it's handy for my interchangeable needles. And I've gotten to the point where I'm adding them in between because I don't have enough space anymore. I ordered extra tips of 3.5 because most of my projects are on 3.5 and I don't want to have to unscrew them of one project to work on the other. So I just got a second set. These I already had, and I've got really tiny little 3.5 needles for if I want to do like the cuff or stuff like that. And I do have a short version of 3mm needles as well in this, but I think those are, no, it's not these are not that short, they are shorter, they are not 13 centimeters, they're only 10, but these are tiny. They're really, look, this one. It's so small. Look at that. So it's perfect. And while I was ordering, not all shops have the tiny versions, the mini version, and this one had, so I was like, I can't get it. Also, then I got free shipping. So there we go. Okay, a bit of noise. And then also for, I couldn't quite choose between, where did I put them? I've lost needles, so that's great. But the mini versions, I really lost them. How do I even do that? I fall behind here. Something else that's fallen off. I've lost my needles. Anyway, the mini versions of the 2.75. I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy knitting in that. So I got the double pointed needles as well in that size, because I know that I like knitting with double pointed needles. So that is my backup option. I just whacked myself on the nose. Bloody hell, I'm an idiot. Anyway, that is for the needle hole. Oh, and I got a cable as well. Another 60 centimeter cable that I can use with the 3.5 points. Tips. You call them tips. Anyway, that is that. I'm annoyed at having misplaced my needles. And it's like, how does that even happen? These are the two, and then the other ones are just gone. Yeah, okay, anyway, that is my disorganized self. Next acquisition just literally came in. That was the, oh, here they are. Ha! Okay, I'm an idiot. I lose stuff quite a lot. The other acquisition just came in because it was delivered yesterday, but to the neighbours, because I came home 5 minutes after the delivery guy came here. I cycled really, really hard to try and get back in time, and I failed. But it got delivered to the neighbours, and then I tried to get it then, but I think they had to go somewhere, or they weren't home because no one answered the door. That's like, oh, but I really wanted it, but okay, I'll just go tomorrow morning. And I woke them up. So as I said, I'm recording this quite early in the morning before it gets too hot. And because I also need to post this today. So yeah, it's a bit my ADHD brain that tries to challenge itself, probably. Like, how much time do you need? And last week I already missed the deadline. But that was because of technical stuff that didn't go well and I had to redo it. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, this morning I woke up the neighbours because I rang their doorbell a bit, I think it was 8:20. And they've taken some time off to have a lie-in, amongst other things. And I ruined that. That's bad. I feel sorry. But it's light out there. It's going to get warm. It's nice to have the morning. No, that's what my neighbour said as well. Oh, now at least we have something. We have enough time in the day to do stuff. So, yeah, still bad. Anyway. Knitting for Olive order from last Saturday came in. So I said in the last, not podcast, but I think it was the video with Pattern Roundup, I did talk about the fact that Knitting for Olive was going to donate all their profit from Saturday, 9th of August, to UNICEF for starving children in Gaza. But it's not just, I got that wrong, it's not just a profit. They've donated everything. So they operated at a loss that day. They just gave away all of their products. Basically, well, for them it's for free. And all of the money from the orders, all of it has gone to UNICEF. That is mind-boggling. I don't know of any other brands that have done that. And I'm not just talking about yarn brands. It's just like, period. Operating at a loss is a bit scary, especially because it got shared a lot, at least on Instagram. I saw lots of people reposting it, lots of people commenting that they were going to order. And I think they had like, it was $700,000 or euros. I'm not 100% sure. I thought it was euros. That is a huge amount of money to be donating, and that is, yeah, lots of products that they gave away. So I'm very happy to have bought that wool. The garments I'm going to make out of this will have something extra special because of where the money went to, but I also feel a little bit for Knitting for Olive. It's like, that is a lot of money they gave away in one day. And so I'm thinking of ordering a bit more, just so that they get a bit more money, because they did hint at it being something that they were a little bit nervous about. This has cost them a lot of money. They're not a small company, but they're not huge, so this will have a really, really big impact on them. It's their choice, but I don't know if they realised it was going to blow up like this. It was going to be this big. So yeah. Might order soon again, because I really like that they look at the ethical side of things and really make sure that their yarn is produced in a way that is ethical for humans and for the sheep. And so yeah, I think it's something that is important. And I speak from a place of privilege. I do realise that I do have the disposable income to spend on a luxury yarn like this, and if that is not the case for you, it's not a bad thing at all. It's just that for someone like me who can spend that money, I'm like, why shouldn't I? Why should I not support a company that makes sure that it's environmentally friendly, that there's no animal abuse, that there's no people that are not getting the right wage for the work they do. So yeah, it's something that's become more and more important to me over the years. That's also why I do not want to support fast fashion whatsoever. So that's an extra good thing for knitting. But yeah, it's companies like that, and especially with what they've done for their donation, I thought that was really, really good. And once again, this is not about sides. This is not about politics. It's simply about people should not be starving. And you could also say, oh yeah, but how about the people of Sudan that are starving as well? Yes, it's not about, oh, but what about this, what about that? Yeah, there's always going to be people that don't live in the best circumstances in this world. But if we don't do something because it happens somewhere else as well, then we never do anything. So we might as well do something somewhere, start somewhere, and then try and help as many people as we can. Anyway, I've completely digressed from this. I've not opened it, and sorry, this is a paper bag, so it's going to make, but I'm going to discover what is in there together with you. So, sorry for all the talking. My husband is in France at the moment with the dog. I don't have anyone to talk to, like, at home all day. So I think you're feeling the effects of that at the moment, where I'm talking a lot. Already normally yap a lot, but this is like exponentially bad. Let's open this. They used very, very good glue. Nice. Just gonna rip it. There we go. That is much, much better. Nice. That's their little card that says, like, thank you, and it's ethically produced, blah 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 blah. Then I ordered some more Dusty Honey because I love the colour, and I knew that I was going to want to use it together with the trenchcoat merino that now has a needle stuck in it, for a future project. I have no idea what it will be, but I'm pretty sure I will use this yarn again, because the colour is just, I mean, it's like this golden colour. There's also Isia also has a golden merino, not merino, what am I saying, mohair, and I've been eyeing that one as well, and I think this is very, very close to it. I kind of want to try the Isia mohair as well, but I'm going to have to use this one first now. So that is one. Don't fall off. My desk is getting very full now with yarn. Oh, this is quite nice. So I got pure silk in, I think it's petroleum blue or deep petroleum blue, I'm not 100% sure. But this is going to be an alabaster top. I've talked about it in my pattern roundup from last week. The late summer patterns, and the alabaster top uses pure silk held double. And I've never used pure silk before. So I really wanted to try. And I'm not sure if I will cast it on this summer. And I thought it looked really nice in cream. The cream was sold out, so that was thing one. Also, I'm knitting a lot of things in like white, beiges, etc. And I thought it would be nice. I think it's going to look really nice in a darker colour. It doesn't have like a motif or anything on it. And so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit darker and that eclipses a motif, which there is no motif, so this will be fine. So I got 5 balls of this. Oh, they're not as squishy as the merino, so it's hard to hold them in one hand. But there we go. This will become an alabaster top. I think the designer is Sofia Scotford. I'll put it on the screen because I might get it wrong. So yeah, I hadn't heard, I mean, it's bourette silk, which means that they use the silk of silkworms that have come out of their cocoon, so the silk thread is broken, therefore it's not one continuous thread, which means it's less shiny, which you can see. But I think that's going to be nice. It's a little bit more, well, rustic looking than your normal silk, I would say, like mulberry silk. But yeah, curious to see that. I hadn't seen it in real life before, so this is the first time for me. It looks indeed quite a bit rustic. If I would see it on a shelf, I would not think this would be silk. Although, in the right light, it is a little bit more shiny. So yeah, maybe it's all about that. And I think in a garment with a lot of drape, it's going to be quite nice. I don't have enough space on my desk anymore to put balls. This is going to be interesting. I hope it doesn't fall off. Oh, going quite well. Oh, there's a ball that escaped towards the back. Okay, then next I got one more ball of the same colour, cotton merino that I already have, just because I'm terrified of not having enough. I'm pretty sure I will have enough, but you never know. I don't know, I do not want to play yarn chicken at all. I love chickens, I don't want to play yarn chicken. So that is this one. Then I got, sorry, crack, crack, crack. 3 more balls of cotton merino for, I don't know, whatever top this is going to become. I can't remember what colour this is, so let me check it. Terracotta Rose. I saw it on the website and I thought it looked really, really nice. And I loved the way that the cotton merino had blocked in my little swatch for the Hawaii top. I really loved it and I thought I'm going to use this yarn more often. And so I got this, and this doesn't have a specific project yet, but we'll see. There's still the, what is it called? The top by Mochiknits. I think it's the Amy top with a little collar that I talked about last week as well. It's very much my list of things I want to knit, but I don't have time to knit all of them. Might become something like this. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. It's also, I don't know if you can see it, the colour. I wouldn't say it washes me out, but it's relatively close to the red in my face. I'm always quite red, and whenever I do sports I end up looking like a tomato, and people love to comment on that, which is really helpful because I have no idea I'm that red and sweaty. So I don't know, it's just gorgeous. So if it doesn't become a top for me, it will become a top for someone else, for a friend or my mum or my grandma. I just love the colour. It's, to be honest, it looks a little bit darker on the screen than in real life. Oh no, it's just perfect. Anyway, no specific project, which normally I don't allow myself to buy yarn without having a project for it, because then the stash is going to explode at some point. But to do it. Oh, one more Dusty Honey. Then I got a merino. Oh, and you know what? I'm an idiot. I got merino in claret because I thought I didn't have one, and I want to see what it looked like colour-wise, because I think Bordeaux is a bit... Bordeaux paired with the claret mohair is perfect. That is what my Amy Slipover is. But I was curious to see what the claret was like and how it would pair with forest berry, which, wait, I have over there. I think those two would look really nice together. And so I got one ball so I could try and see what it looked like, because I had completely forgotten that I already have a ball of this. I thought I couldn't get one because it was sold out when I ordered the Bordeaux for the Amy top, but now I do remember I have seen this before. It's because I have a ball. So now I've got two balls of this, so I can knit up a swatch for whatever project I'm going to be wanting to use this for, and I already have two balls, so I won't have to get that much more. Yeah, this is just trying to talk myself out of this. I'm sorry, that happens quite a lot when it comes to yarn. But yeah, so claret in merino, and it's a lot more red. The Bordeaux is quite dark, which is normal for Bordeaux, but I like this one a lot. So yeah, that is that one. And then there's more wheat merino, so the same as the base for the low tide, but I got 6 balls of this. I thought I got some 5. Anyway, there's 6 balls. Once again, one ball is because I don't like to play with yarn chicken, so if I want to make nice long sleeves on the low tide, then I want to make sure I have enough. And because I think I will knit something out of this with the soft silk mohair in trench coat collar that I already have, and I want to put those two together for a project. And so the Dusty Honey will go with the trench coat merino, and this will go with the trench coat mohair. So yeah, basically bought yarn like enough so I could knit lots of other sweaters, but I don't know what sweaters yet, so we'll see. That's great. There's one pattern in fact that just came out, the 108 sweater by Bana knits, and it looks like it's going to be this year's version of the Moby sweater. It's cables all over. It's a bit of a mix between the Dagmar sweater and the Moby sweater, so both are from PetiteKnit, but Bana knit's version is knit on a much smaller gauge, and it's got really nice details, and it's a saddle shoulder construction, which I think is really smart for a big jumper like that. So it's I'm itching to add that one to the list, but I haven't yet. I'm gonna do other things first. I look a bit ridiculous like this, don't I? Maybe that's what I should do for the thumbnail of this video, is add lots of balls like this on my fingers. I will try that. This is ridiculous, but I am a bit ridiculous at times, so there we go. Anyway, that was it for acquisitions and sort of also future plans. I always have more plans than I have time, but one can dream. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode. I've been sitting here for an hour and a half. Yes, this is going to be another long video, and I need to find time to edit all of this before 5 p.m. and upload it. Great. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know I have. Let me know in the comments what you would choose for the Esther sweater colours, what is on your needles at the moment. I really like to look up all the patterns that you mention. It's really fun, and it's a way to discover things that I would otherwise never look at. That way this is a bit more two-way as well, so that's fun. And so I put out a video every Friday at 5 p.m, so if you don't want to miss the next one, you can subscribe. And yeah, if you like this, maybe give this a like, then I know you've enjoyed it. So yeah, have a good weekend, or if you're watching this a bit after it's come out, and have a good week, and see you next time. Bye bye. Just weirding out now. Blah, blah, blah. I've been talking for an hour and a half, and this is fantastic. Okay, time to have breakfast. Let's maybe do that bit again.